Welcome back to Tuesday Tips.
We're here, ready to go.
Pastor Whitfield, you know, it's exciting to be able to come to our leaders, to our family, to our audience every Tuesday with Tuesday Tips, Pastor Whitfield.
I'm telling you, it's exciting to me, and I'm so glad that, you guys have joined us, and, they've been sending in some really good questions, too. And one, we spent the entire time on last session talking about it, but I believe we could follow up this time and kind of finish the four types of leaders. But the question was to talk about, discuss, and kind of break down a little bit more on the four types of leaders. And of course, the first one is the positional leader, and we talked about that. The only really person that's ever lived on the face of this earth that really could have walked as a positional leader was Jesus, He did not. And then there's the operational leader. Jesus could have done that, and He did not.
He did not.
And then there's the relational leader, and of course, Jesus should have been living that way, and that is the relational leader. But Jesus didn't care whether you liked Him or not. No. I mean, He told the religious leaders, they called them vipers,
den of vipers,
snakes, and all of that. And so
He even told one of His followers that he
said, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
What?
And so, but He was the ultimate developmental leader.
That's right. What He put into those 12, you talked about it, the 120 that showed up.
12, 72, then they ended up with 120.
Changed
the world.
The world.
I mean, think about it. The world went from, BC to AD.
Yep.
I mean, that's how the world is known. I mean, so the ultimate developmental leader was Jesus Christ.
He was.
And He understood that. He understood teamwork. He understood, he understood delegating. He understood empowering.
That's what made Him.
He understood entrusting.
Come on.
And that's why He was the ultimate developmental leader.
He was.
And if you're going to be a developmental leader, then the first thing you're going to have to learn is how to delegate to others. Say, well, that seems easy, delegation. Well, I got a gentleman sitting right here by my right. He's on my right hand, and he stands right beside me. When it comes to an ultimate servant to a leader, Pastor Michael is an ultimate servant to a leader. But the one thing that you had to learn how to do was to delegate tasks to others.
I'm still learning sometimes.
Well, I know you and Pastor Chris and Pastor Barr, although Pastor Barr was, he's an ultimate delegator.
That's right. He gives it away as quick as he gets it.
He knew how to delegate to others. And matter of fact, Susan used to get on Pastor Barr because he stole all of her leaders and that she had trained in the prayer ministry.
Look out.
But you have to learn how to delegate. And it was tough for me, Pastor Michael.
Yeah.
Why would I delegate something to someone that I could do?
There you go.
I never could understand that because my daddy was you work, boy. You get up. You didn't sleep at my house. You got up and you went to work.
You didn't sleep in?
And so therefore, you got to learn how to delegate. And delegating something to others is the ultimate level of trust that you can show in others, that you're going to let them, you're going to delegate something to them that you really can do.
Correct.
And the reason a lot of people don't want to delegate is they like to do things.
They like to do. That's part of mine. I like to do things. I like to do it. And
you like to see the results of what you are actually doing.
Sure. And in some areas you may be better than them.
Absolutely.
And
it doesn't take quite as long if you go get the job done, go on and do it, than having to teach somebody how to do it.
Exactly. It takes a lot longer to delegate it and take the 4 steps to I do, you watch, I do, you help, you do, I help, you do, I watch. There's 4 steps
That's
to
good.
get
Can
into.
you go into that a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever really taught that. I know y'all have taught that in the children's and youth workers leaders meeting
Yep.
that y'all do, but I think as a senior pastor, as the CEO, as the boss, and you're trying to raise up others, because there's 3 positions you're going to be in. You're either leading, managing, or doing. And if you're ever going to continually stay in that position of leadership, of being the leader, you're going to have to understand those 4 things. How about going over those, Pastor Michael?
Glad to go over them again. And it is pretty simple. It's 4 basic steps, but you've got to take the time to do those steps, because if you don't and you bypass it and you just say, I delegate it, and you threw it on somebody, but you didn't do what you talked about, coaching, teaching, and training.
Teaching, training, and coaching.
Teaching, training, and coaching. Thank you, sir. I said it backwards.
No, we've had it backwards. We've had it backwards
said it.
for years.
That's right.
Because you can't coach something that you haven't trained
or taught. That's right. So. And you'll get into that next.
Yeah.
But those 4 steps are so very important. As a leader, you've got to look at those 4 basic steps. And we do this when we're training children. We do this when we're leading a team. Is I do, you watch. First step. Let's get together. And if I'm going to show you, let me show you how to do it. You watch, I do it this time. And it may be a time or 2 that you have to do that.
Yeah.
And then you go on to the next step is I do, you help. You don't delegate and just dump the whole thing on them.
Yeah, there are some things you can really delegate. Okay, go to Lowe's and pick up 4 sheets of plywood. I remember one day.
What?
I
now
remember
wait a minute.
Years ago. This was years ago. I was looking for you and I was looking for Pastor Chris. I couldn't find either one of you.
Yeah.
And I found out that here are 2 executive level pastors in Pastor Chris's truck headed to Lowe's to pick up a sheet of plywood. Now, I promise you that could be delegated to anyone at any level at any time. And so what did I do? I used that as a coaching moment, because I'd already taught you and trained you. But go ahead. I didn't
we didn't just get plywood. We did get lunch.
That real life example. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is why I love my pastor, and he has helped me so much. So yeah.
So you do, I do, you watch.
I do, you help.
So you give someone a task to do in that teaching,
realm or whatever of leadership that you do.
Okay.
The next step you do is you do, I help.
Okay. So in other words, the person that was watching you for a season.
Yep.
They watched you do whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Then they're helping you do while you are leading them.
That's right.
But now they're going to do it, and you're going to help them?
I'm going to help them.
Okay.
I'm going to be...
So you don't
I don't
turn
come
everything over to them right away. You
Nope.
turn a certain portion of the children's ministry over to them,
Yep.
a certain portion of the service
the leadership
over to them,
or whatever it
a
is.
certain portion of whatever over to them, and now they are doing it, but now you are beside them, helping them.
Beside them.
That's good.
Exactly.
That's real good.
And the last one is you do, I watch.
I watch.
A good example is this. If you want to figure out how to do it, you're teaching your child how to make their bed.
Okay.
The first time you have your child stand at the end of the bed and you make the bed and you say, you watch, this is how we do it. We pull the sheets up tight, you tuck this in, you straighten out the pillow, and this is how we make the bed.
Okay.
Do that a couple times. The next time you come back, you have the child start helping you.
Yep.
They're on one side of the bed, you're on this side of the bed.
That's really good.
You
That's
make
really
the bed. And as it goes on, and then they're helping you. Then you help watch them make the bed, and you're helping them.
That's
so let's
good.
straighten this one out over here. You forgot to fluff the pillow or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then before you know it, the child's making their bed.
And you're standing back
doing nothing.
You know, it's the same way that really I hadn't thought about it until you started talking about it. It's the same way we train salesmen. I used to be a sales trainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Selling just became really easy for me. And then not only did selling become really easy for me, but it was easy for me to train others to sell. I didn't know that term that you've used, but that's exactly what we would do. In other words, I would have a person with me. You go to restaurants right now, and you have someone that I'm training them.
Yep.
I'm showing. So they're standing beside them as they take the order,
Yep.
as they bring it back to the table. The same thing is, I do, you watch.
Yep.
I do, you help. You do, I help. You do, I I watch.
There you go.
That is a great formula. I believe Jesus did that with his 12 disciples.
Of course he did.
I really do. Then he sent them out.
He saw him feed the 5,000. He saw him heal the sick. He saw them.
They saw him.
That's right.
They saw him.
Sorry.
They helped him. He said he gave it to them. They gave it to the multitudes. Yep. And then eventually he sent them out on their own.
That's right.
And they did it. And they came back. Listen to this. They came back rejoicing.
Woo!
Because the devils were subject unto them in his name.
That's good.
And,
That's good.
So I'm encouraging you to take those 4 tips right there that Pastor Michael just gave you. And that is that you get somebody along beside you.
Everybody should.
Everybody's got to have somebody beside them. If you don't have a team right now, as a senior pastor, as the leader of the youth ministry, as the head of the evangelistic ministry, whatever it might be, if you don't have a team right now, find someone that's been helping you, that's been there, that you may not even think they're leadership material, but you get them beside you. You bring them up beside you, put them beside you, and then you allow them to watch what you are doing. Then you have them help you do what you're doing. And then you let them do it and you help. And then you let them do it and you watch. That's why we at JB Whitfield Ministries do leadership meetings. That's why we're having Lead 23 in October 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's why we have Lead Plus simulcast. That's why we are on Tuesday Tips. That's why we are available to help you in your church, to help you with your leadership, with your teams. That's why we teach you the same thing over and over and over again, simply because you've got to take hold of being a developmental leader. If you're ever going to grow your church, grow your ministry, if you're ever going to have a life outside of ministry, you're going to have to be that leader that raises up. It's a Timothy process. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Paul put into Timothy, who put into faithful men, who put into others.
There you go.
And it just passed right on down the line. So, listen, don't miss Lead 23.
That's right.
Bishop Silas Johnson, John Grunwald, Pastor Michael Watson, Pastor Murray Cartson, all of our team are going to be holding leadership, breakout sessions, and it's going to be the value of leadership. You don't want to miss it. So you register. Pastor Michael, tell them how to register.
The registration is at jbwhitfield.com. You go to the website. It is open. You look on the Lead 23 event. It'll open up a page for you to register, you and your entire team. You do not want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it.
Pastor Whitfield, I think wrapping this up from the developmental leader, how to delegate, empower, and entrust, that teaching, training, and coaching is so powerful. Would you just pray and close us out today?
Amen.
Praying
Praise
for pastors.
God. Father, I just thank you for what you've done for me at Agape Faith Church. How you brought the leadership training to me, Father.
Thank you, Jesus.
And Father, not only that, though, how you brought in the team that I have now that have surrounded me. Father, I know you're no respecter of persons, so therefore, for these pastors that are watching, for these leaders that are watching, Father, you will bring to them those that they need to surround them, and then you will give them the wisdom on how to raise them up to be the leaders to be the building teams that they need. We release that into the airways now, into these leaders' lives right now, and we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Once again, I'm Pastor J.B. Whitfield. This is Pastor Michael Watson. And this is J.B. Whitfield Ministries saying we love you, God bless you, and we'll see you next Tuesday on Tuesday Tips.
Thank you for joining us on Tuesday Tips. We invite you to like, follow, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. To find out more information about JB Whitfield Ministries, visit us at jbwhitfield.com.